Shit talk of like. Now I will get back to the movie that haunts me. It doesn't haunt me as much as it did before because now I know why. I'm not really going to show this movie. I'm just using it as a focus. In this movie, the pink people, they have restaurants. And so then someone comes in to check the meat and find out that these people here, they have more animal feces, cow feces in their burgers that, they're doing that to me now, than anyone else. And so they sent him out to investigate why. They have more cow feces, like cow dung, cow shit, in the hamburger meat. Now you can have cow feces in your hamburger meat even when you go and buy it from the store, because they tell you here in this movie, how it's cut up, and then they go inside this and that, and they do shit so fast that the shit just gets on the meat. No, your steaks and rump roast or whatever like that, big pieces of cow, you can wash it off. And when you cook it also, they say when you cook it, they say in this movie, when you cook it, you cook it out, because they're not supposed to be handling everyone's food. But the Martians, they feel like they need to be the ones to feed the whole world. As they say, the hand that feeds you rules you. Although you go and buy your food from them, they still feed you. So that is what's going on in this movie. Now, as I said, I'm just using this movie for focus. Now, the name of this place is Mickey's. And when it came on, my mind said that this is Mickey D's trying to cover itself up. As you go along in the movie, you will actually see McDonald's. So they don't want to get Mickey mixed up with Mickey D's, McDonald's. But it is still McDonald's who has more feces in the hamburger meats. Also, back in the day, you will also have body parts in your hamburger meat, because the way you have to watch the movie to see the whole thing, to see the way that they were like cleaning or whatever they were doing. It was really dangerous. And I'm going to go back a couple of months. As I said, this is just a focus, but I'm going to go back a couple of months, and what the TIs now call real time, because the pink man, he gives us words to use, and the TIs are no different than anyone else, They will also use the words that are given to all of us to speak. This is how it is today. Remember commercials? Even McDonald's did a commercial, with the children coming in now. And now McDonald's use more melanated beings than anyone else, because they need to turn us into synthetic humans. I did not know feeding us this kind of shit was turning us into a synthetic human. Well, it doesn't want to go on, but it starts like they say. I watched the movie because it is a mind control movie. It's under mind control, and I watched it because next to it said that this movie was a comedy. They put much mind control in comedies, so I watched it. This is not a comedy. This movie is nowhere near funny to me. It tells more stories at one time, like maybe 3 or 4 different stories at one time. So you can't miss a beat of it, or you will miss a lot of it just to miss one beat. But in this restaurant here, they go and they show you the burger, and on that burger, is a piece of shit. You don't even know that you're eating a piece of shit. So I'm going to stop it here. See, this one, I don't know if they're Mexicans, but this one definitely looks to be Mexican, although they are pink. But this one definitely looks to be Mexican. And her too, you see how her eyes are, but some pink people, the eyes are like that too, you know, because they mixed in with the Moabites and the Ammonites. So I'm going to go back a couple of months. I was on the bus and I was going to the 99-cent store, and then there was this older woman. Oh, she looked really nice for her age. She didn't need a walker either. I think I was kind of envious of that, but I was glad she didn't need a walker. She was melanated. She got on the bus, and it said, my phone said 558. When she got on the bus, she sat down next to me. But before she got on the bus, she got on maybe 2 stops after I got on. It appeared, hold on one moment. Okay, in this movie, someone is served. I guess they don't want you to see it because it worked very well for me. I did not have to go through this, you know. But as I said, I'm going to use it as a focus, but I still did want to be able to show you something in it. But so someone was giving no, they don't want you to watch it. Wow, isn't that something? Where are you? Well, someone was giving, click here for a different version. See, we can get a different one. That will work. Some hosts have deceptive ads. Yeah, okay. And this starts different, but it's Fat Locker. It should work because I watch a lot from him. So once it warms up, it should work. Well, let me tell you the story about the elderly woman that got on the bus. Before she got on the bus, you know, it was nothing but Mexicans to get on the bus with me and my son. And when I got on the bus, you know, I just looked around. It was filled with Mexicans, and I thought in my mind how bad I wanted them to go back home. I also thought about the movie Paranormal 2, what the Mexican did, you know. And I was thinking about, you know, my daughter. My daughter is always saying that, you know, the Mexicans don't like us. None of the Mexicans, even the melanated Mexicans, do not like us. And I've encountered melanated Mexicans. I did not know that there were melanated Mexicans until I went to Texas. And that is where, you know, I found melanated Mexicans in Texas. And he was way darker than me. This is where they're going to show you the shit. That is a piece of shit. And so 2 stops down, you know, I'm thinking of all these things about the Mexicans, and 2 stops down, this elderly woman, she gets on the bus. And she sits down next to me. And she starts talking about the Mexicans. And my mind is like, how the fuck did she know what I was talking about? But I know how they simulate, you know, this is a simulated world. So I know how they can simulate things. And so she began to tell me, she said, you know, they came over here in the late 40s and early 50s. She said the reason they came because the pink man, but she didn't say pink man, but I'm going to say it. The pink man, but she said the European man, you know. And she said the pink man, he needed some work to be done. And she said the Negroes would not do that work, nor the poor whites. they would not do it, the poor pink people, but she said the poor whites. They use words. I'm just going to use the word that I use for them, but she did not use the word pink. I do. So she said they came over to clean up shit from the sewers and the animals. And I really didn't know what she mean by the animals. And then months later, my daughter, she calls me again. She's, she always has trouble on Facebook with Mexicans. They seem to, for some reason, not like her. And they always talk about how dark she is and that they know she doesn't like her skin and this, that, and another, whatever. So she called to tell me about another one that she had encountered on the internet, and they keep telling her these are just your perps. See, everyone is targeted. Everyone is targeted. You're just targeted in a different way. And in a sense of a way, we are all synthetic humans. We're just different types of synthetic that they have for us. So, okay, so we're talking about it, and then, we went into some other conversation. So when my daughter calls me, I get off the phone, and then, I have this, and my daughter keeps telling me to send it to her. This is the alphabetical list, but everything on here is about mind control. All of these are mind control movies. They tell you here is comedy, adult, sci-fi, adult, and some of them that they say is comedy is not. I really don't know what adult is. I tried to watch a couple of them that said adult. It was kind of hard to find it, and then I told my son, adult, would that be X-rated or something? Because I did find one, some couple of days ago, but I found it, but I didn't watch it because I did not know if it was X-rated or not, because the cover appeared that it was. And then I don't want that kind of stuff on my machine, because they can come in, take your machine and say, oh, you're doing this, you're doing that, and shit like that. But they have a lot, and these are old. See, Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein. That's what I'm going to watch next, while I finish up this dollhouse that I'm making. And I'm making a dollhouse. And then it said, or somewhat of a dollhouse. Then it says, Abbott and Costello meet the killer, Boris Karloff. I watched these when I was younger. Alien Abductions, Intimate Secrets. I found this one. But it says here that it's sci-fi. No, right here. It is adult. I found it. And, but I didn't watch it because I don't know if it's, the X-rated bullshit or not, and I really don't want to see X-rated bullshit. So it has bad, and that's a movie I want to watch because that is the name I call my daughter, but yet it is an adult movie. And it goes all the way down there. A lot of movies. So I have a lot of movies to watch. Why am I creating the things I create, and why I go into my delusional world, because I'm sure that is what your psychiatrist would call it, a delusional world that I'm in. But while I'm in my delusional world, I don't have to deal with things like, Sandy Hook, the melanated chick, and then the killings in some church, and the shooting of some guy, whether it's real or whether it's street theater. I don't have to deal with that. I don't deal with that. I only watch movies to stop the silence. It's so quiet in here. And I also watch them because I do like to break the codes in the movies. So now once my daughter is talking to me about this, right? So the next movie I go to watch is Fast Food Nation, because it said it was a comedy, and I started watching it, and when it comes on, maybe it is a comedy, but as it goes along, it is not. This is a movie about when the Mexicans begin to come over here and the jobs they had. And the jobs they had, one was where they kill the cows and stuff. And the way they kill the cows, they shoot them in their heads. You know, I mean, and the way they keep the cows and stuff. Oh wow, this movie is like wow. And then if a Mexican gets injured there, the pink man will not pay for his injury, or if he gets killed. And sometimes he gets killed, he will get ground up into the ground beef, and his shoes also. And this one, he was not doing drugs, but he knew that a lot of people in the plant did drugs to get by, you know, to not have to deal with what was going on, reality, I guess. But he did not do drugs, but he did get caught up in the grinder, and it fucked his back up. It took off one of his legs, and they went to tell his wife that you know, because they did come over here from Mexico. Oh, you should just see it. And then his wife, they tried to tell his wife that he was doing drugs. They did not want to pay them for his injury. So they said he was doing drugs, so, you know, they didn't have to pay him. That's what the pink man said. But she told them that she did not believe them. And then he had a synthetic Mexican. The pink man had a synthetic Mexican with him to translate. And the synthetic Mexican translated to her, and she told the Mexican who was translating, she told her, "I do not believe you." And she told her that more than once, but that was the word believe. They put believe in all the writings and books and TV and articles, everything, because they do need you to believe. So he didn't get anything. So then there was a girl, because they tell like 4 different stories, you know, about different people or different places, what's going on in 4 different places. So one girl, she worked in this restaurant, Mickey's, and she had some friends, and one of her friends, he was a Jew boy, and he was talking about all the things that they do in the cow factory. And she worked in the restaurant Mickey's. So, you know, it's just McDonald's covering themselves up though. So she decided to quit because she could not work there. And then she joined them and what they wanted to do to shut it down. And so the Jew boy, he came up with something to write a letter, whatever. And then there's another guy, he's pink. He says, you know, he didn't want that, but actually he sounded like me, you know, because I was listening to it in my headset, but I turned it off, took my headset off, and it said, "Makaya, listen to this." And the guy, he really sounded like me. He said he's tired of them winning. They're always winning, this, that, and another, but he sounded like me. So then the Jew boy asked him, did he have a better idea, you know? And so the girl who used to work at the restaurant, she came up with an idea. Let's go and free the cows. So they went to free the cows. They cut the wires or whatever where the cows were and tried to get the cows out. But the cows would not go. Not one cow would leave. And the cows looked at them as though they were stupid. Like, are you stupid? You really want us to go and fend for ourselves? When our food comes here and we are programmed to know when the food will be here. And this food, which was GMOs, this food, it tastes better than the food that we will have to go and fend for ourselves to find. And also, when I was on the bus, you know, the Mexicans, the reason I wanted them to go back home was because of Jose Delgado. You know, I tried to find information on him. Amy gave me a book about him, and I read it while I was there. And that was in 2011. And I tried to find information on him, like a video, but most of the videos are in Spanish, so only the Spanish speaking are talking about him. The ones who speak English, they're keeping quiet. This man, Jose Delgado, he took parts off of people and put them, body parts off of people, earthlings, and put them on animals. Yeah, I was thinking about that. So I was trying to find something about him, but I couldn't. Now, also in this movie, the man who takes them, to where they need to go, and this is California, where they have the happy cows. It's so awesome. He is from Atlanta. He lives in Atlanta, but this is his job to do this type of shit too. He lives in Atlanta, a place I will never ever go back to. So I was talking about the cows. So now these they're like teenagers, maybe 19, 18, 19, 20, something like that. They go back to the hotel room that, or the room wherever they were at, having the meetings, and they begin to talk about the cows. Because the cows would not leave. But while they were there, and the cows, not one cow would leave out, I said, wow, this represents the so-called black man. We will not. Someone comes, open the gate, we will not leave out. Because we also are being fed GMOs. And so we also become synthetic, just like the cows are synthetic now, but in Texas, and I haven't been there in a while, but when I was in Texas, there were cows everywhere. They were not in factories and shit. So when you say the cows who, you want to use the word, I wouldn't use the word happy, but I would say glad cows. They are in Texas. Happy cows are from California, and happy is a spell. And these cows, they were under a spell. They would not leave. And that part of the movie is why this movie haunted me, And it was just so awesome. And when they got back to the room, they began to speak about it. Like, while they were there with the cows, in where all the cows are, they opened it up so the cows can leave, and the cows wouldn't leave. I said, you need to research. I said this to the movie, next time research some shit before you go trying to solve a problem, because they had no idea that the cows would not leave. So when they get back to the room, the blonde hair girl, she says the same thing I said to the TV. The next time they need to research some shit. And the girl who worked in the restaurant, it hurt her really bad to see that the cows would not leave. And they began to brainstorm, and they came up and they said they would not leave because they are comfortable. And I said, yeah, they are comfortable in their condition, and their food is there. They don't have to go hunting for it or looking for it or nibble on grass. And even one of them said, I bet the GMOs taste better than their regular food. And GMOs do taste better, but they're only fillers, You can eat it and you appear to be full, and 20 minutes later, you will be hungry. I've been in many female houses where they fed their children. They fed their children very well. And 20 minutes later, not all the children, but one or two of the children will come and say, hey, I'm hungry. And she fed them very well and even gave them dessert. So why are they hungry? And she used to say that, why are you hungry? She said, they're always hungry. Like, they never get enough to eat, But she would go and fix them maybe a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, or maybe just fix them another plate of food if there was any left, Because GMOs is only a filler. So this is the movie that haunts me. And then I was going to... I wish I can show you some of this shit, really. But you should watch it. But I know you won't, because I asked you to, and I don't matter. It's like I don't even exist here. Somehow I am in this world, but I damn sure am not of it. And then I said there was a house that hunted me. When I say hunt, I'm not talking about the type of hunting that the pink man has taught you that hunting is. There's a house that's yellow. When I say something haunts me, it means it comes into my mind, and I didn't ask it to be there. I didn't think about it. Now this yellow house that haunts me, it has windows, it has a yard with grass, and it has a couple of trees. The backyard, it has a bench in the backyard, and there are trees in the backyard, and there's a chair under the tree in the backyard. If I'm not working at the bench, when this house comes into my mind, I'm sitting under the tree. And I am in the house also. And the house is filled with others. And even when someone comes to speak to me, I can hear what they say, but I cannot see them. And I do a lot of I do a lot of creating, and I don't like to use the word crafts because it has the word rat in it, So I do a lot of my, creations. Well, anyway, I do a lot of my doll stuff, in this yellow house. On the inside, I see the house so well, but on the outside,